Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We are studying Sahih of Muslim through the lens of Imam Nawawi's commentary on this authentic hadith work. Today we are going to continue with Nawawi's discussion on the heading of the first chapter, which is entitled Iman, Islam and Ihsan. In the last session, we saw the views of some of the earlier authorities on these matters, on these terms. Today's discussion mainly involves the concrete question of whether Iman is subject to increase and decrease. In this session, we will mainly be concerned with the view of Ibn Baṭṭāl Maliki. Let's begin in the name of Allah. Imam Nawawi writes, Imam Abul Hasan Ali bin Khalf bin Baṭṭāl al-Maliki, a very prominent early Maliki scholar, says in his commentary on the Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari, the view of the group of Al-Sunnah from among the earliest and the later authorities is that Iman is both verbal declaration and corroborative deeds. It increases as well as decreases. The argument for this view can be found in the verses quoted by Imam Bukhari in his Sahih. لِيَزْدَادُوا إِيمَانٌ مَعَ إِيمَانِهِمْ, that they might add faith, Iman, to their faith. Verse 4 of Surah 48. Another verse is وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى, we increased them in guidance, that is Surah 18 and verse 13. وَيَزِيدُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا هُدًى, Allah further enlightens those who seek guidance. وَالَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا زَادَهُمْ هُدًى, those who follow guidance, He increases them in guidance. And وَيَزْدَادُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِيمَانًا, those who believe may increase in faith. أَيُّهُمْ زَادَتْهُمْ هَذِهِ الْإِيمَانَ أَيُّهُمْ زَادَتْهُ هَذِهِ إِيمَانًا فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَزَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا, which of you has had his faith increased by it? As for those who believe, it has increased their faith. فَخْشَوْهُمْ فَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا, so fear them, but this increased their faith. وَمَا زَادَهُمْ إِلَّا إِيمَانًا وَتَسْلِيمًا, it only added to their faith and submission. In all these verses, as we can see, addition in the faith and the level of faith has been discussed. Let's continue with his statement. Imam Nawawi's quote from Ibn Baṭṭāl. Now, this part of Ibn Baṭṭāl's discussion quoted by Nawawi revolves around the nature of Iman. If Iman of a man does not increase, it is defective, writes Ibn Baṭṭāl. If it is said, Iman is little confirmation of the heart, then I would respond that the confirmation obtains perfection through all the obedient acts. The more the righteous deeds that a believer performs, the more perfect his faith grows. Thus Iman grows with an increase in righteous deeds and decreases when righteous deeds decrease. When performing righteous deeds decreases, the perfection in the Iman decreases. When performing righteous deeds increases, the perfection in Iman also grows stronger. Now, Imam Baṭṭāl turns to Imam Malik's view on affirmation of faith and when it can be termed to have fallen into doubt. As for the affirmation of the faith in the Almighty and the Messenger, that belief in Allah and His Messenger, then that does not decrease. This is because this is why Imam Malik, according to some reports, avoided accepting the view that Iman decreases. For the the reason behind Imam Malik's view is that loss in affirmation, that is tasdeeq, is not allowed. That means that we cannot say that we cannot approve of something or say affirm something in parts. We can say either it is or it is not. So if there is faith, it can be there or it can't be. There is no middle way. The reason is that when the tasdeeq decreases, it grows into doubt. When your affirmation, when your conviction in your heart decreases, that turns into doubt. and therefore out of the sphere of the term Iman, and doubt cannot be called Iman. Now, some scholars have explained what Imam Malik avoided. Some scholars have explained that Imam Malik avoided expressing that Iman decreases only in order to avoid siding with the Kharijites, who excommunicate believers due to their sins. Imam Malik has been reported to hold that belief decreases following the general view of Al-Sunnah. Abdul Razak, the author of Musannaf, says, I have heard teachers and sheikhs, including Sufyan as-Sawri, Ibn Juraj, and Sufyan bin Uyayna, say that Iman consists of declaration and corresponding action, and it increases and decreases. This section can be called criteria of a true moment. Things that earn a man praise and association to the believers are three in number. Number one, confirmation of the heart, declaration of the tongue, that we call shahada, and practical action of the limbs. That is the acts that we do, righteous deeds and obeying Allah Almighty, and all that can be done with the body parts. A person who declares faith and performs actions without knowledge and recognition of his Lord cannot be termed a mu'min. Similarly, a person who declares belief in Allah and His messengers but does not carry out obligations cannot be termed a mu'min in absolute terms. He can, we will see later, he can be termed a mu'min in some sense, but he cannot be termed an absolute believer. This is because of the Quranic description of true believers. The Almighty says, the believers are such that when they are reminded of Allah, their hearts feel a dread. And when the verses of Allah are recited to them, it adds to their belief, and on their Lord they rely. The ones who establish the Salah and spend out of that which we have granted them, these are the Mu'min in reality. This is Surah Al-Anfal, number 8, verse 2. Ibn Baṭṭāl on Iman as saying in action. Now Ibn Baṭṭāl points out that there might be an objection and then clears it. He writes, if it is said, you have already acknowledged that Iman is but confirmation. We will explain that confirmation is the first step toward the stages of Iman. This confirmation earns the agent entry into Iman. It does not imply that he has consummated his Iman and achieved all its heights. Such a person cannot be termed a mu'min in absolute sense, in absolute terms. He quotes earlier scholars to support his view and says, Abu Ubaid says, this is the view of Imam Malik, As-Sawri, Al-Awza'i, and other heroes of the field of knowledge and Sunnah, as they were the beacons of guidance and Imams among the people of Hijaz, Iraq, Greater Syria, and others. Imam Bukhari's chapter themes on Iman. Ibn Baṭṭāl says that Imam Bukhari aimed to establish it in his chapters on Iman, which include questions about Iman, that Salah is part of Iman, that Zakah is part of Iman, and Jihad is part of Iman. All these chapters headings have been given in order to prove the point that Iman includes actions as well. He intended to rebut the Murji'a view that Iman is statement without action, and he sought to correct their creed's contradiction to the Book of Allah, Sunnah, and the Imams. Rebuttal of Murji'a on the question of Iman and its meaning. Al-Muhallib says, Islam in reality is Iman, which is the contract bound by the heart, affirming the statement of the tongue. Al-Karamatiyya and some Murji'a say Iman is profession by the tongue, and they exclude confirmation of the same in the heart and its conviction. The Muslim Ummah unanimously rejects hypocrites who declare faith but disbelieve internally. The Almighty says, never pray for any of them as death, never stand on his grave, for they are disbelievers in Allah and His messengers. After a few words, Allah Almighty says, while they disbelieve. This shows that, according to the Holy Quran, the hypocrites who utter the declaration by their tongue are not considered Muslims. they are not considered believers. Sorry, they are considered Muslims legally, but they are not considered believers. As the last three words in this quote explain, while they disbelieve, mean they are disbelievers. So, if somebody cannot be considered a believer while he does not, while he apparently accepts or declares that he believes in Islam, so it means that Iman cannot be confined to the statement of the tongue. We will continue, inshallah, the discussion, and once it is concluded, we will have a recap of all the discussion and summarize it so that we have a clear picture of what has been discussed by Imam Nawawi in this while dealing and explaining the chapter heading of Imam Muslim. Thank you very much.